All right. Well, I just got back from the funeral, and yeah, that was an emotional funeral. A lot of people there. There was a lot of people there. Even the guy who was like curating the whole service. He mentioned in his speech, his opening speech, like how surprising it was that this many people were here. He said usually they get that many people for like a policeman who died or just some well-known figure or whatever from the area. Something much more bigger than just a regular, ordinary, everyday person. So yeah, no, there was a lot of people there. Some people who I haven't seen for a while. Some of them I didn't get a chance to say hi to. One was my friend Nina from college. She was there. I didn't get a chance to say hi to her. So if she sees this, hi, I'm so sorry. You just lost a friend. I just lost my cousin. So I'm sorry to you. My friend Johanna went up and gave a speech when they were doing all the speeches and everything. Girl, if you did a great job with your speech, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to say hi to you either. But yeah, I mean, basically, just my sympathy is just going right now to my Uncle John and my cousin Colleen. My cousin Colleen was too choked up to go up and do her speech. She had her boyfriend do it. My Uncle John got very emotional in his speech, and he mentioned something in his speech that I didn't know about. Because keep in mind, my Aunt Kathy, his wife and my cousin's mother, died back in 2002. I didn't go to her funeral. I don't remember why. I even asked my dad, and do you remember why I didn't go to the funeral? He couldn't remember why. I mean, maybe I had to go to school that day. I can't remember why I wasn't there, but I wasn't at my Aunt Kathy's funeral. But my Uncle John mentioned something in his speech that oh my God. So at my Aunt Kathy's funeral, when they were up giving like speeches for her, my cousin Sean, keep in mind, my cousin Sean was like 12 at the time. You know, he wanted to go up there, and apparently he was so choked up and everything when he gave his speech. But the words that he said that my Uncle John will never forget was he said in the speech, "My mom used to say, we didn't have a lot of money, but my mom always made us felt like we were rich." Wow. And my Uncle John mentioned that when they went home that night, and he was putting them to bed, he said to my cousin Sean, he said, "I didn't know when you were going to become a man. Tonight you just did." That is so. That is so poignant. Wow. And I almost wanted to go up and give a speech. I mean, I don't consider myself a public speaker. I took a public speaking class in college over a decade ago, but I do not consider myself a public speaker. Doing these little TikToks is the closest you'll ever see to me doing a public speech or something. I don't know, but I was going to give up. But I mean, I felt like if I did it, I would just be doing it just to do it. You know what I mean? I want to leave this open for the people who really want to get up and speak on his behalf. Because bear in mind, I have a very lazy social life, so I haven't been spending a lot of time, with my cousins over the years. My best memories with them are when we were little, when we were younger. But as we got older, they have their lives, I have my life. I mean, same with me and my brother. Like, my brother was at the funeral tonight. Tonight was the first time I've seen him since he got married, and he got married back in 2021. Since then, we usually just communicate through text and everything. I mean, I want to see him again. It's not that I don't want to see him. It's just like, hey, he has his life. I have my life. I'm the kind of guy who just comes home and does nothing. I'm lazy like that. I'm just a lazy socializer, if you will. So, yeah, my brother was there tonight. And yeah, just a lot of people. A lot of people. It's sad that this is only the second time I've seen my Uncle John in 5 years. And both times were at a funeral. And both funerals were for two of his kids. And I think it's the same with my cousin Colleen. I think the last time I saw her was Lex's funeral, and that was 5 years ago. It's just, oh my God, it's just so sad. But one memory did pop into my mind while I was sitting there thinking about back when we were kids, and I was thinking about my three cousins. I remember one Halloween. This was Halloween 2002, 2001, somewhere around there. I forget. We were young. I think that was the Halloween I dressed up as the Haunted Mask from Goosebumps. It was a fun cosplay. I just hated wearing the mask because there's no air for the mouth, so I could not breathe while I was trick or treating. So I was just so out of breath. And I remember it was my dad and I, my three cousins. I think my Uncle John was there. I forget, but we were all out trick or treating. I can't remember what Lex was wearing. I can't remember what Colleen was wearing. But my cousin Sean was dressed as like a pimp, with a hat and the sword and everything. He just looked so cool. But the part about this that will always stick with me is how he just kept going, I want some candy! He just kept saying that as we were walking around from house to house. It was so funny. I remember that. And just, yeah, I'm grateful that I at least have a kind of family where even if I don't talk to them for a while, I remember when my one grandfather died back around a while back. It was the first time I'd seen my cousins for a while up to that point. And I remember Sean came up to me and said, like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I hadn't seen him for a while. It was good to talk to him. Yeah, I feel I have that kind of family, I mean, even when I don't see him all the time, we can always touch base and everything. But yeah, I was definitely grieving tonight because the last time I saw Sean, I guess you could say of my cousins, he's the one I see sort of, at least until his death, I saw somewhat regularly because he worked at the Wawa that's not far from where I live. He worked like 5 minutes from me, so a lot of times I would go in there, I'd see him there. I didn't always talk to him because he was always working and everything, but it was at least nice to know there was a spot where I could at least see him. Obviously not anymore. And a lot of his coworkers were there. They went up and spoke about him. Apparently he really loved his job there. They really loved working with him. A lot of people say positive things about him. It's just so sad though, because just my Uncle John lost both of his sons in the span of 5 years. No parent ever wants to receive the news that their kid is dead. It's just sad. I feel bad for him. He's got to go back to Texas soon. We're still waiting for the full autopsy on the actual cause of death. And, of course, my cousin Colleen lost both her siblings in the span of 5 years. And it was really sad. But funny, it's weird. This hit me a little bit hard than when my cousin Lex died 5 years ago. Not that I wasn't affected by that. Not that that didn't happen. This just kind of goes, I mean, I might be kind of going off tangent here, but just, I've done some TikToks talking about, my issues with mental health and everything, how I had some really bad episodes a few years ago. When my cousin Lex died, I was in another zone at that time. I mean, I wasn't on drugs or anything. No, it was just, I was going through depression, low self-esteem, and just a lot of paranoia, just a lot of emotions going on with me at the time that, at the time of Lex's death, I don't feel like I was grieving in an honest way, if that makes any sense. Yes, I went there, I paid my respects at the funeral and everything, I gave my cousin Colleen a hug and everything, gave Uncle John a hug and everything, yeah, paid my respects, but I don't feel like I was grieving the way I should have at the time. Whereas tonight, I felt like I was grieving, I want to be a part of the emotion ride that everybody's feeling right now. This hit a little harder for some reason. I'm not saying that I was closer with Sean than I was with Lex. I was about the same. I mean, one thing that people were making a point of tonight, my three cousins, they were a package deal. That is very true. Whenever I think of my cousins, I think of all three of them together, and I will always think that. I remember a couple times my cousin Colleen spent the night at my house a couple times when we were kids, but even when it's just her, it just feels... I'm not saying she isn't her own unique person in her own right, but you know what? Without her three siblings, it just feels there's less of something, you know what I mean? So, no, they were definitely a package deal. All three of them. And it's just sad. I mean, looking at the pictures tonight, I saw pictures of my Aunt Kathy. I forgot how beautiful my Aunt Kathy was. I don't think it ever hit me how beautiful my Aunt Kathy was. Because I was 9 when she died. But you know what? My Aunt Kathy has been reunited with 2 of her children. I'm sad for my cousin Colleen and my Uncle John. But at least, wherever they are now, 2 of my cousins have been reunited with their mother. Rest in peace, Sean. Go Chiefs.